All right, well, we're going to talk about leadership in community colleges, and we'll start off with the first question, which talks about common career pathways to become president, and kind of discuss a bunch of stuff about that. So it seems to be, first of all, that it's accidental. It seems to be a common trend. You start off in as a faculty, you start to get more and more responsibility. All of a sudden, you're recommended to be an associate dean, and then maybe a dean, and then the next logical step becomes president. And it seems to be very few actual stepping back, and at a younger point in their career going, this is my end goal, is to become president of this junior college. And that kind of seems to be kind of the common trend there. Now, as far as figuring out, okay, how do we diversify what we got going on? I think when you setting up search committees and making sure that, because right now there's just an inadequate ratio when you look at the makeup of the community college, as far as the students that are there and the leadership of that same community college. I think certainly trying to seek out qualified people that represent and reflect the student population is really important for that committee. There's been some success with mentoring groups. Unfortunately, only about half of the community colleges have mentoring groups. But those that do, definitely talk about the positive things that can come out of that. And so more community colleges should look to that example and try to follow that lead. I think one thing we can do is put minorities and women in some of those precursor roles, the roles that end up becoming president. If we can put more of them in your associate deans, in your chairing a department, something like that, then the natural progression into a presidency might be able to take place. Of course, I can already counter-argue that with myself by saying, you just fill up, that mid-level with all of these more, either women or minorities, but then you never go anywhere, and so having to follow through with that for sure. So the next question talks about, the complexity of a community college leadership as opposed to a university. I think first of all, I think we have to look at the size and the type of the university. I think that a University of Houston with 40,000 students looking to become tier one, certainly very different. And one thing is that exact the mission. First of all, your community colleges are constantly in a mission flux. It's kind of whatever is biggest at the time is what they have to go after. And so for a while, if it's workforce development, then that's what they got to go after. As it shifted, now you look at some of their funding being connected to graduation rates, they're going to have to shift again. Fortunately, typically community colleges are smaller, so you're leading fewer people. You can be a little bit more agile. You can change quick, a little bit quicker. You can be a little bit more, responsive. And whenever you are in charge of fewer people, sometimes that changing, being more responsive is a good thing. The downside that I could see to that is, you're almost just, it's flash in the pan almost. It's the next thing you're going to. And that can be really difficult whenever you don't have time to set up a hard and fast, this is our mission, this is what we're going after, that you may get at some larger universities. You have to kind of go with the flow, and like I said, if at one point it's employee development and workforce development, the next point it's increasing the amount of associate degrees you're giving out, and the next point it's whatever is the next thing that people who fund you say this is what we have to do. That can be really difficult. Chapter 8 kind of talks about all the complexities that can be associated with with community college leadership. So the last question looks at what was interesting, and do you want to become president of a community college? And I think that position would be a lot of fun. I think that first of all, all of the, to me, when you look at the community colleges, because you have less people that you're kind of working with, you can really, to me, that relational leadership is going to become huge, and I love that, and so that would work well, and it'd be something that I would have a lot of fun with, because whenever you're really, it's called a community college, and so you should be developing a sense of community, and making making the people that you're working with feel like that, staff, faculty, and hope that it trickles down into the students. And obviously you have student development directors and things like that who are focusing on that as well. Um, so I think it would be a lot of fun. I think that certainly it was interesting reading about how so many of the presidents of junior colleges and community colleges kind of got there accidentally. Um, kind of as you continue to go up, it's like, well, this is the next thing to do. Uh, yeah, it's kind of interesting. But yeah, I think it would be definitely a challenge, but at the same time, a lot of fun because you get to create that sense of community. You get to create that team, certainly that feeling of, we're all trying to succeed. And I think a tough part is that you'd lose some student contact and student interaction. And right now, that's something that's very important. And so, as you move up, it seems to be an inverse relationship. Sort of an up and down of as one goes up, the other goes down as far as responsibility and interaction with students. So that might be tough, but a lot of fun.